Welcome to the Cherokee Homelands presentation by Joy Montgomery. The subject and focus of this is the Cherokee lands prior to the Trail of Tears and the forced removal of 1838. The geographical focus is the present East Tennessee and North Georgia. The dates broadly are 1730 to 1838, and the narrow focus is 1806 to 1825. It speaks about the Cherokee capital sites, cultural sites, agencies, missions, and chief sites. The subject and focus is the story of places and sites, parks to visit, along with the history. The video map includes images to tell of culture and more about each site. The overall goal or purpose of the project is to share the story map, video map with people wanting to know more about the Cherokee culture and homelands to visit the sites, to share the story map or video map with Trail of Tears Association sites for preservation and awareness, with also these different historical sites, these different parks, historical parks. Also for scholarships for experts to tell more of the timeline, placement, and people of the Cherokee agencies. For few scholars have these correct. The timeline of these Cherokee agencies have long been disputed, told differently. Different sources have them in different places. Their timelines are often told in different places in different ways. And the Cherokee agencies were important because they were the places where the Cherokees came together, where distributions were given to the Cherokee, where the Cherokee agents were actually the ones who were intercessories. They would help with disputes with the American people, with the American government, the local government. It was also where the passports were taken in for the local people, whether they could pass into Cherokee lands. They would also help if there was lack of food, lack of medicine. It was also where the American Civilization Program was going on, so they would help give them different implements of how to do farming, how to do cotton, how to do weaving, how to do spinning, how to do different things. So, and they also had trading posts and other things there as well. They also helped with the missions. They also helped with the education. So they helped pay for a lot of these different things, treaties, other things like that. So a lot of these different letters and other things would come through. So it was also a place where the chiefs would say, "What this is what's going on. This is what I want for my people. How can you help us?" So that's why these are critical places along the spectrum of these places, because you could also see the development and how these negotiations would eventually lead to the Trail of Tears. So why does this project matter? Before understanding the Cherokee Trail of Tears, people should know more about who the people were who walked the Trail of Tears. What were their names? What were their lives like before the trail? How did this all lead up to the trail? It is important to know that there was an early divide before the Cherokee. Several left the East early. So at the Hiawassee Garrison, Chief Jolly and some of his people actually left around 1810, 1817. Well, his brother left around 1810. Chief Jolly left around 1817. His people left early because they didn't want to be a part of the civilization program. They wanted to continue hunting. There was a split. They didn't like what was going on with the other part of the Cherokee, so they went ahead and went out west. A few people know that. It is important to know what the Cherokee homelands were like, particularly for the Cherokee people, in order to understand what they gave up. Takeaways. The project shows there were many influential Cherokee chiefs and places in the Cherokee homelands. The Cherokee homelands and borders changed even before removal. Some left the Cherokee homelands decades prior to the Trail of Tears, as we just discussed. The video map reveals more about what each place can tell the visitor about Cherokee culture or history. Thank you. So few people know these stories. Few people talk about how some of the Cherokee actually left early. So these are the stories. So there's Chota was a very important early capital. So it goes more into detail about that. Some of the Cherokee actually went out to England around 1730. It was an early Cherokee capital. Ball play, this is to tell a little bit about how important stickball was to the southeastern tribes, Hiwassee Island, and that's where John Jolly and his group decided to move out west. The Cherokee agencies, Southwest Point was a Cherokee agency, Red Clay was an important council point, Blythe Ferry, where 900 Cherokee were prior to removal, Spring Place Mission, one of the early educational sites, Van House was an early chief site, New Echota is where the Treaty of New Echota was actually signed, and those who signed it to go out finally in 1838. The Cherokee Agency, Ross's Landing was an early trading site, more Cherokee agencies, and finally Fort Cass was the final and main removal point, and Candy's Creek Mission, a mission site. So there in brief is the site, and then also we have videos for several of these points that goes more into them. So I hope you enjoy this. Thank you so much for your time.